Hey guys, it's Derek from Pacific Coast Auto here in Japan, and we're taking a look at a 1997 Suzuki Jimny Land Venture Turbo. And so this one here is similar to the Samurai, as it's known in the US market, and in Canada. This one was bought from auction, is going to be going to Canada. And this one here is the next generation after the version that was available in Canada. And it looks pretty similar, but this one here is, I guess, the third generation. And so far they've had 4, and so I believe that this one was available up until about 2000 or 2001. Comes with a turbocharged 660cc, so that's a 0.6 liter engine. I suppose it would be pretty fuel efficient. Comes with a nice large intercooler on the top there, complete with a scoop to feed it. It's a 3-cylinder twin cam engine, and so 4 valves per cylinder. The engine running condition is pretty good. It is a bit shaky. It seems like it's a bit out of tune. Needs to have a couple of things checked to run a little bit smoother. Maybe have some fuel additive to burn some of that carbon away. The vehicle has 165,300 kilometers, and yeah, exporting to Canada, where this is going to be an awesome vehicle to have, because these Jimnys are one of my favorite. In fact, people who actually are serious about going 4x4ing, they love these because a very tiny wheelbase, solid front axle, solid rear axle, easy to lift. On the earlier models, they all have leaf suspension. This one has spring suspension, and the spring suspension came halfway through this generation, I think in like 1993 or 1994 or something like that. And then the spring suspension one makes it a little bit more difficult to raise up, but it also makes it more comfortable to drive on the road when you're not off-roading. Okay, so let's take a look at the vehicle. So coolant looks fine, oil looks fine, and then when you rev the engine, it just has a bit of hesitation right at the beginning of throttle, and so needs a little bit of, that's not the throttle there. I saw the wire there. I suppose that, I don't know, looking for the throttle. There it is. You can hear the blow-off valve there. It doesn't look like any oil leaks or anything, so I'm going to lower the hood, see if I can reach this with my head. Oh, that was a reach. One-handed hood lowering. Okay, and I turned on the fog lights because yellow fog lights are awesome. And so the Land Venture version of it is probably just a trim level. And so you get different stickers on the back. I think that those fog lights would be part of it. It does have a roof rack, which is an official Suzuki roof rack, so that might be part of the package as well. I'm not too sure. Anyways, let's look at the auction inspection sheet here. And just want to point something out. Cracked hood scoop. Okay, so this is the information given to us from the auction. It's a 1997 Jimny, otherwise known as the Samurai, but Jimny here in Japan. 660cc. You can get them here with a 1300cc engine, which is what they got back home, but the power is very, very much the same. This one would be easier to modify to get more power out of, but with a low gear ratio, you don't really need that, because this thing will just go doo-doo-doo-doo up the hills and climb the rocks, because lightweight and short wheelbase makes it really difficult to get these stuck. And in fact, these vehicles are very commonly used as the chassis for making a more serious off-road vehicle, if that's what you're into. Auction grade 3.5, interior grade B, exterior grade C. It has a roof carrier on it, and that's all the seller wrote, really. Here's the auction inspector. Interior is dirty. Winter tires, 3 of them. The back right side there has like the spare, I think. Headliner is saggy and a little bit ripped. I'll show you when we get inside. I don't think that it's that big of a deal. Hood duct is scratched. I think they meant cracked. It looks like a scratch, but it's cracked. Okay, windshield crack 1 centimeter. That is over here. And it's a flat windshield, very cool looking. I like how they maintained the classic looks of this one, even though I do really like the next generation as well. Headrest ×2 is missing. Underside has corrosion. Wheels, corrosion as well. The wheels are actually pretty badly corroded. It's corroded aluminum. I'll give you a quick peek here. And see those manual locking hubs? That is perfection. Love that on vehicles. And this must have been one of the last vehicles to have those. Huh. Okay, looking at the body here, we have bad paint and bad paint. And then we have corrosion, 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 corrosion around here. Okay, so let's do a once around here to see what the vehicle looks like. Looks like it's on stock suspension with stock wheel and tire size. A lot of these here in Japan are lifted up or heavily modified, and they look great modified. You can get them in high roof version. This in here is a regular roof. The high roof is pretty rare. Or you can get them as convertibles. And a lot of aftermarket support here, because anyone who goes off-roading in Japan buys one of these because they're so cheap, and because they're K cars, they're a lot cheaper to register. And so unless you want your 4x4 to be your regular everyday car, for a lot of people owning two cars is too expensive, because it's really expensive to own a car in Japan compared to other countries, especially when it comes to parking. One parking spot is 150 bucks a month, and I actually rent 3 parking spots for my vehicles. Okay, so let's look at details here. The next generation is defined by having the extra 2 round markers there. That's kind of the easiest way to tell if it's the generation after the 11 generation, the JA11. This is the JA22. Let's see here, JA22. Okay, now going down in here, we have some surface rusting in here. None of that's bad. The only bad place is one section here, right there. That's not supposed to be a hole, and it is. Otherwise, everything looks fine with the corrosion on the underside that I can see, at least. In terms of rust, though, here, 2 spots, and then here, and then over to the other side. And it's arguably a little bit worse on this side here, there, and take that off to see exactly how bad it is, and then here, and down there. Okay, a number of scratches around along here, and kind of looks like a dog might have had its way at this section here. Okay, let's have a look at the roof carrier. Oh, that's cool, aluminum roof carrier. And it's official, and so it's going to fit there perfectly. It would look very cool to put some lights up there, like a light bar. And has a cool little mirror here, an extra double mirror. And so that's going to show you how far you are away from the side of this. And if you are actually going between trees or on rocks, it's really good to have that, so you can see, you can line up the rocks on this side, because out of that side you'd be able to see them properly just by looking out the window, and then this side you can just look through your extra mirror there. Okay, open a door. I love how the doors just have straps here to keep them from opening too far. I think that's funny. Still crank windows. I think power windows came in the next generation, but I'm not sure. The interior of this is upgraded from the earlier generation, the JA11. And the first generations were called SJs. Okay. Now headliner. The tear is right here. So looks like this lamp has come undone or something. If you glue it back up into place, you can barely see the tear. Power steering works. Actually, mechanically everything works. I've checked it. 5-speed manual. That's good to have. You can get them with autos, but manuals are pretty common in this as well. Nice gauges there. I like the sort of more modern look to it. Looks like it's been smoked in, but doesn't smell like cigarettes. Carpet's nice and clean. Seats are very small. High sill to step over to get in, which is a little bit annoying to get in, but once you're in, so I've got the seat in the full back position, got my feet on the pedals here, and it's reasonable. It's, I guess, one of the bigger K cars for getting in. You have a lot of room in here for legs if they need to go up for long-legged people. They feel a little bit close to the steering wheel, but that's kind of part of the charm of driving one of these. You do have to watch out though, because the steering wheel is really close to the door side, and it is a little bit padded here, but very easy to hit your arm against the side of the door when you're 4x4ing, especially if you're holding onto the steering wheel and then the tires hit some sort of a rock that causes the steering wheel to move automatically. It can knock your arms into the side pretty easily because of that. AC works. This is really cool. Look, it has a digital compass on here. Also look at this. Here it shows you your height and the barometric pressure. Very cool. But check this out. You can press this mode button here, and then what you can do is set it here to start, and then it will tell you how high you've climbed. So very cool little function there, very Japanese type extra electronics. Here's a switchable for low, for high, and so regularly you would be 2-wheel drive. You can switch to 4-wheel drive. You get out, you turn the hubs, and then you're in 4-wheel drive. You can only drive like that when you're driving in on like snow or gravel or something like that. You can't drive like that on the streets because it actually manually locks the front hubs together, so both front wheels will have to turn at the same rate, and you need a loose surface to do that, but it gives you a lot more grip because of it. And then 4 low is used so that you get a new gear in there, and then it puts all of your gearing to a much higher gear ratio, which allows you to climb up with less power, and so makes these very versatile vehicles. Cup holders, e-brake. Okay. Oh, I just realized that everything was zoomed in. I wasn't looking at it. I hope that you could actually see what I was doing there. Turn the fog lights off, or I might forget. Back seats. The driver's side one might be really difficult to get into the back seat because it doesn't slide forward like the passenger one does. But you get these tiny little jump seats. I folded one up so that you can see how much room there is in the trunk. I'll just go over to the other side here. And love the external hinges. Those are real, not just for show. So pull this up, seat slides forward. A little bit tricky to get in, but reasonable, especially for kids, because if the kids can't get in there, they need to do more PE class. And the adults too. If you can't get in there as an adult, you need to lose some weight. Okay, so as you can see, you get basically no room for cargo in the back, unless you move the seats forward, in which case you get a reasonable amount. It's a good vehicle to just take the back seats out, and then you have a more versatile area in the back. And then really easy to flip these. Just flip it down like that, and flip up. It is kind of a shame that you have to pull 2 handles, this one here to flip forward, and this one here to flip up. A lot of newer cars, or Hondas in particular, because Hondas are awesome, will have that all in one handle, and then headrests are missing here. And then that seat is in the full back position. I'm just going to get in to see what it's like, because I haven't been in the back seat of one of these in a while. We actually bought 2 of these this week. Another one's going to be coming in pretty soon. Oh yeah, no problem. Look, ooh, as long as you don't mind knees up to your ears, it's fine. And then you can see the sagginess a little bit better here. In fact, yeah. Okay, I'm getting carbon monoxide poisoning because the back hatch is open and it's all coming inside. So, let's close up here. Cool little vehicle. Do have to worry about the rust. So when the vehicle lands, get the rust taken care of. And have a cool little 4x4 to rock around in. So, there we have it. If you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. And have a nice day.